The vaccine rollout, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine rollout, after the long wait, started sometime Monday. It was announced earlier to have started on Friday, but it was re-looked at, and then it started on Monday. Well, today is Thursday. What's the story like? What has been the turnout, and how is it going? How many more do we have to give? Be reminded also that yesterday we got some AstraZeneca, nearly 300 doses of the vaccine, all in our effort to ensure that the entire population is vaccinated. I think 20 million of us are vaccinated. We achieve herd immunity by the end of the year. Ibrahim Abubakar will join me now, and we will have that conversation. Well, Ibrahim is not on the network now. There's a bit of technical challenge. We'll take a break. When we return, we'll take you around the country and tell you how the rollout is happening. Maybe we could just also connect to the Volta region and tell you how that new epicenter is faring, and how they're getting 70 new cases every single year, every single day. Ibrahim is joining me now. Ibrahim, thank you very much for joining me. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam, Johnny.
Ibrahim, so the rollout started on Monday. What can you report on Thursday?
Well, Johnny, for here in the Greater Kumasi, the rollout started on Friday, rather. So we started hours earlier, and the turnout generally has been massive. As I speak to you this morning, we've exhausted the 50,400 doses that we received. In fact, as I speak, I'm currently at the Asokwa Regional Health Directorate, and you can see behind that some people have even come this morning hoping to get some of the jab. But unfortunately, they've come late, because yesterday, a day before, the turnout has been so immense. People were here in their numbers. At least people are beginning to realize the need to take the jab, especially when people realize that the Johnson & Johnson is just a one-time thing. So people went to the various centers and made sure that they took their jab, especially at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology when I visited there on Monday, because they also started recording more cases of COVID at that place. So there was the need for them to create a center in that university. Personally, I was even surprised, because I thought because of the UTAG strike, we wouldn't have more of the numbers, because most of the students have started packing home. But when I went there, it was massive. And as I speak to you, like I said, the 50,400 in Greater Kumasi, we have exhausted it. I've spoken to the regional health director, and he told me that there is some of the AstraZeneca on its way to Kumasi, and they will also start the vaccination of that one on Monday. So at least the people who had already received the first jab for the AstraZeneca will have the opportunity to receive their second jab.
Let's talk about, that's some good news there, that the folks in Ashanti, because Ashanti region is about the second epicenter aside Greater Accra. Let's talk about observance of the protocols against COVID-19, wearing of face masks, Veronica bucket, washing of hands, and all of that. What have you seen? Has there been a change in the trend?
Johnny, it's still discouraging. In fact, that is a more concern for the health authorities here. You walk around town and you realize that out of 10 people, now you see only 4 people in their nose masks. And even those in their nose masks, they don't put it on properly. And just 2 days ago, the health directorate conducted a survey on face masks. And they said that within Ashanti region, 52% of people had possession of the nose masks, but only 24 of them wear it properly. So the remaining have it. It's either on their chain, or it's in their pocket, or it's in their bag. So they don't put it on at all. If we remember, the RECSEC last week did a meeting, and it resolved that they would deploy a team of police to the various places so that they enforce the wearing of the nose mask. Johnny, I'll tell you, it was just a one-off thing. That day, we saw a number of police personnel on the street of Kumasi in the central business district enforcing the wearing of nose masks. When they see you without the nose mask, they will just tell you to get one. So they will have to force you to buy one and put it on before they allow you to go. The following 2 days, we went back. The police officers are there, but they are not enforcing. In fact, as part of the directive by RECSEC, they even demanded that all MMDAs should make sure that they place Veronica bucket and other PPs at the various lorry terminals and the marketplaces. Now you go to the marketplaces, huge number of people are there. No way there can be social distancing. People are not wearing the nose masks, and we don't have this Veronica bucket even has been directed by the Regional Security Council. So for us, we think that directive has not worked at all, and people still are not putting on the nose masks. You ask them, some will tell you, oh, for now we think the virus is no more, and some will also tell you they are not wearing it because they think the leadership themselves have breached that protocol. So they don't have any trust in the leaders to tell them to put on the nose mask. So the wearing of the nose mask is a great challenge. But when we talk about sanitizer, that one we cannot talk about it at all.
Why can't we talk about it?
Hardly see people, you even hardly see people selling sanitizer because you ask them, they tell you people no more buy it. Initially, you have a number of the women who have switched from even trading in clothes to the sale of nose masks and sanitizers. Now they are just dealing with the nose masks, no more sanitizers because people are not patronizing it at all.
I see. I know that the Ashanti region, particularly, if you look at Ghana as a country, we're used to a communal spirit of living and coexisting. So there are a lot of chop bars in the Ashanti region. People would like to buy food to eat in groups or in pairs. COVID-19 is here, and we know the implications of doing that. Do you still see that happening in the Ashanti region?
It's happening everywhere you go. You still see people grouped, especially at food joints. They buy their food, they group there to eat without the nose mask on. And someone will tell you you cannot eat whilst you have the nose mask on. But people still, you find people in groups disregarding all the protocols. So we were expecting that the RECSEC will at least implement the directive that the orders that it has given, but we are not seeing any of these things. And the regional health directorate is also more concerned because with the Delta variant, we know it has high transmissibility. So it quickly moves from one person to the other. But Johnny, Ashanti region for now, I can say that even though we've seen a decline in the number of active cases, last week we were hovering around 1,200 thereabout. This week we had around 818. But the challenge has to do with the death. Last week we have a death figure of...
Hello, Ibrahim. Well, the network seems to have frozen there, but we're trying to get some update from Ibrahim Abubakar, who's Ashanti regional correspondent. Ibrahim, you're back. He's back.
So the death, within 1 week, we've recorded.
Oh, well, technology and the internet is not being favorable. But what are your thoughts? Share them with us as we try all and one to fight the COVID-19 pandemic, to stay safe and secure from all alarm. Ibra, you're back. Good to have you back.
Yes. So I was talking about the death. So it's alarming. That's why even the health authorities are counting on the police to help them in enforcing the protocols. Especially the president has talked about funerals, 2 hours, and the number of people. But we still see people go beyond the stipulated time, and people go there without their nose mask. So that's why the health authorities are also even expecting the police to at least patrol around funeral grounds. If people see that the police are patrolling and whoever is without nose mask will be arrested or will be forced to buy one and wear, people will begin to wear it. But they don't see those things happening. So they are more concerned, even though our active cases have declined, but the deaths are shooting, and they still fear that when we don't take care within the couple of 2 weeks, 3 weeks, the active cases will shoot again. And you know the population of Ashanti region, and our coverage, the vaccination coverage too has been a bit slow because we just have about 200 people who have been given the jab so far. So they are hoping that plans are in place to get more jobs so that they will be able to at least cover about 50 to 60% of the population.
I know that, let's go back to the funerals. I know that funerals are a mainstay in the Ashanti region, particularly a 1 week observation of obsequies are organized and then the main funeral itself. Do they play by the 2 hour duration and the restriction of not having the after sitting or the final funeral rites sitting, which usually characterizes funerals around here?
Johnny, not at all, especially the 2 hour duration. People go beyond it. In fact, over the weekend, personally, I decided to walk through some places. I'll go, come back. I'll go there in about 3, 4 hours, and you realize that the funeral is still being held. So the 2 hours stipulated time is not being adhered to. So you have people coming there without the nose mask, and people still party. When you move to other communities, the wedding receptions, the even funeral, after funeral gathering, so goes on in the region. And like I said, that's why the health authorities want the police to be patrolling communities at least over the weekends, so that if they see their presence, there will be some level of sanity within the various communities. Uh, Sometimes, even as I speak, the 52% coverage that I talked to you, even when I said regarding the nose masks, when you
Right.
move around time, finding 4 out of 10. But when you go to the various communities, it's even worse. You can find 20 people gathered at one place without nose masks. None of them has the nose masks on. And you engage them, they will tell you, hey, the arena there is gone. So they wouldn't put it on. So when you move to the communities, it's even scarier than the central business district. At least the central business district, you find 1 or 2 people in the nose mask. But the communities, the situation there is worse.
Let's go to church. What is the situation in the churches and the mosques as well? I know that when COVID-19 came, there was a directive, especially for our Muslim brothers and sisters, to bring their own mats, have their own buta, or use pure water or sachet water. In the churches, we're told that they had to take down the names and number the seats, so it will make easy our efforts to contact trace. What is the picture now in the Ashanti region?
Well, Johnny, for the churches, I would say some of them are adhering to the protocols, especially when they are entering the churches. You see people in their nose mask entering the churches, and you move into some of the churches and realize the spacing of the chairs, at least they are observing the social distancing. But the challenge has to do with my own community, the Zongo communities, and even in the mosque. You rightly mentioned people were asked to come with their mat, use sachet water when performing ablution and the rest. Initially, we were seeing those things, but this time round, you don't even find it. You move to the mosque, the social distancing is not working at all. You find a number of people gathered in the mosque. You only find 1 or 2 in a nose mask. Sometimes you wouldn't even find anyone at all in the nose mask. So the challenge is even worse in the Zongo communities and in our various mosques. Just last week, I was even speaking with colleagues. We went to bury a friend, and Johnny, I can tell you, out of the over 200 people that we were going, not even up to 10 people were in nose masks, and we were very close to each other. You try to engage them, you try to educate them, and some will listen to you, but majority wouldn't listen to you. So it's a bit of a challenge. I would say the adherence of the protocols in our various mosques is absent. That one I can say.
I see. So now it comes back to the personal responsibility. Do you, for example, see the NCC office in the Ashanti region trying to get into the communities to talk to them like we saw in the beginning, the assemblies themselves sending their agents with their pickups or their vans to tell the people what time it is and what to do? Do you see the churches do like they did previously, using their pulpits and their platforms to tell the people that public education? Do you see it happening?
Well, Johnny, not at all, especially with NCC and the assembly. Honestly, I don't remember the last time I saw any van within Kumasi educating people on the need to adhere to all the protocols. We don't find that education in our various communities, with the exception of sometimes hearing them on radios and on our televisions. But the education is not going downward. That's what I've observed so far. The churches are doing their bit. The mosques, you still go there and the poster is there, no face masks, no entry. But you walk into the mosque and you realize no one is in nose mask. The churches, some of them make sure that they try to enforce the wearing of the nose mask. So the education for me, I would say, is not going down. Well, I don't even see any form of education in our various communities.
I see. Ibrahim, you stay safe out there with the rest of the team. A point of interest, though, quickly, you enter the chop bar, you can see two people using one earthenware pot to eat, or maybe three or more. They like to eat as brothers and sisters. Do you still see that happening in the Ashanti region?
John, it's still happening. Nothing has changed. I think people now think that we are out of the woods. Last year around this time, at least people were observing all the protocols. Like I said, now you speak to them and they tell you they are not even sure the virus kills, and it only kills those who do not have, or those who don't have a strong immune system. So you still see that happening. You move to eateries, chop bars, and you still find friends, 2, 3, in 4 groups eating in the same bowl.
I see. Thank you very much. Grateful for your time. That's